it is the area that there is the most room for growth, to be able to understand feelings, feel them, integrate them, work out where they're coming from. I really think that it's an area that is ripe for people who like to improve themselves, guys and girls that are type A go-getters that want to try and achieve things, and they're completely missing one of the huge elements of this, which is what's the day-to-day experience of your mind like? Not from a mindfulness standpoint, because even mindfulness, you can use that to not feel feelings very well. Like a thought arises and we let it go. It's like, okay, fine, but where did that come from? Why did you feel that way? And are you really applying all of the equanimity that you can to just release, relax, and allow these things? That's like taking a paracetamol to stop pain. It's like the pain is going to continue to be fed up to you. What's causing that?
Yeah.
And it sounds so like fluffy and unscientific. And I think another part of it is, especially coming from like a health and fitness side, people want to be able to control the system. If I eat this many grams of protein and lift this much, I can expect this amount of muscle gain over a year, given the But with emotions, it's just this, it's chaos, right? You don't have the same rigor when it comes to assessing them and when it comes to dealing with them. Do you have a like break glass in case of impending low mood protocol?
Honestly, group dinners. 3 to 4 friends. Group dinners, long group dinners. No alcohol. If I see low mood coming, then no alcohol.
Because of the next day?
Yeah, you're borrowing happiness from tomorrow.
And there isn't much.
Once
there isn't going to be much
someone put it to me. And if you compromise your sleep, for me, generally low mood, if we want to call it depression, does not actually, it's not a first cause. For me, I would say it's typically some type of anxious rumination, worrying about something. I compromise my sleep because I have onset insomnia. Then I consume too much caffeine, which further compromises my sleep. And then after 3 or 4 days, that's when the low mood / depressive symptoms show up.
Yep.
So anything that compromises sleep, I try to avoid.
Small habits done consistently are how most people make changes. We overly rely on motivation. Right, and motivation is important, but I think we overly rely on motivation. And the scientific research shows us that motivation never stays up. Right, motivation comes up, motivation goes down. So here's the reality that most people, I don't think, are applying in their life. If you make something difficult to do, you will do it when your motivation is high. So the problem is that you do the behavior when motivation's high, but when motivation's low, if the behavior is difficult, you don't end up doing it. But if you make the behavior easy to do, you'll do it when your motivation's high. You'll also do it when your motivation's low. The Netflix CEO said a few years ago that their biggest competitor was sleep. Reducing their screen time, particularly in the evening, has quite a transformative effect on their physical health and their mental well-being. Now, we're living in a sleep deprivation epidemic, no question about it. Scientists from Oxford University say that we are sleeping 1 to 2 hours less than 60 years ago. You see, when we don't sleep well, so many systems in the body get affected. We have a reduced ability to pay attention. Our focus is down. Our concentration is down. We show less empathy. We're less creative. We eat more. Yeah, that's right, we eat more. The research shows us that if you're sleeping 5.5 hours a night compared to, let's say, 7.5 or 8 hours a night, on average, you eat 22% more calories the following day. See, one of the things I think that is affecting people the most these days is the fact that our downtime has been eroded out of our lives. We need downtime. Our brains love downtime. Well, that's because there's a part of your brain that we call the default mode network, or the DMN, that kicks into gear when you're not focusing on a specific task. And that part of the brain is responsible for all kinds of things. 2 of those things are, it helps you be more creative, and it helps you solve problems. So we allow that part of the brain to kick in. It helps you feel less stressed. You're more productive. You feel happier afterwards. We're all part of this big, broad human family, and sometimes we forget that. Psychologists have found that we have a network within our brain called the sociometer. And what's the job of the sociometer? It's to constantly scan our social world for threats. So if we're not getting positive social feedback from our social world, we can feel anxious, we can feel afraid, our self-esteem starts to go down. But when we get positive social feedback from the world around us, a smile from the person we walk past, a thank you from the barista in the coffee shop, a nice word you exchange with the supermarket attendant, whatever it might be, when you get those positive signals in your social environment, that sends a message to your sociometer in your brain that everything's okay. You feel content and in control.